I think we'll get started. So if you're coming from the GNL project, I encourage you to look at the introductory video for this series to make sure this is the right video for you. Okay, we're coming off of talking about light as a wave, very important feature of light. But when we talk about light interacting with macroscopic size things that are much bigger than the wavelength of light, it becomes a bit tedious to always be treating it carefully as an electromagnetic wave. And for many applications, it is perfectly fine to think of light simply as a ray that is a ray in the direction that the light is headed. And that's called the ray model of light. And by ray, we mean the geometric definition. So a ray is a segment that extends forever from a starting point here. So we could talk about a light ray. Now, the ray model, of course, is ignoring any kind of wave-like behavior. So when we think about the interaction with material, we're thinking about it more in sort of a general macroscopic sense. If we want to talk about how is the light interacting with the material, how is it sloshing the electrons around, then we have to go back to the wave model. But this works very well for optics, for telescopes, ophthalmology, for eyes, for cameras, and so on. Okay, so the idea here is that light rays are straight lines, so geometric rays. I guess I should say geometric rays here. Different light rays can cross. They don't interact at all, so they don't bounce off one another. Light ray will go on forever unless it interacts with material. So if it interacts with a material, either transparent material or an absorptive material, that will change the direction of the ray or completely absorb the ray. And then an object, what we call an object, is the source of the rays. Now, this could be any object, like this light is coming off from this room, is coming off of this pen so that we can see this pen. In the context of a ray model, we'd be looking at light rays coming from this pen. We don't care where they came from originally. If we're talking about how do we detect this pen, we're looking at the light rays coming from that pen. So that's an object, sort of a general object. Let's look at some specific sources. So a ray source is a laser. That's pretty simple to think about. That's if we want to model just a single line, then we have something we're familiar with, laser beams. That would be a good model for that. Another important thing is a point source. So that would be a source that is sending light rays in all directions. So it looks like if we were to, it's filling out a sphere around a point. So this is, you consider like a very small light bulb, or maybe if you think about a distant star that just looks like a point source. An extended source, so maybe you have a light bank or a ring light. If you're doing some YouTubing and you want to make it look professional, unlike this, you'd have a ring light, and that would be an extended structure. Let me try to draw this here. That would be sending light rays like that. And then finally, an important one is a parallel ray source. And the pinnacle example of that is the sun. The sun is so far away that the difference in angle of a light ray hitting us here versus a meter over is negligible. So that would be a parallel ray source. And we think here of like a spotlight or a directional flashlight as a parallel ray source. So these are handy sources to be thinking about how these interact with objects. Okay, so let's talk about a few things related to this. Detection. In order to see an object, the light ray has to run from that object to the detector. So we were talking about this pen here, or if we're outside looking at a tree, we don't care where the light is coming from in the first place. If we're detecting this tree, it's because there is a light ray emanating from that tree. And in fact, if we're detecting the whole tree, it means that there are light rays coming from every point on that tree. Now, we can't see the backside of the tree because the light ray coming from there won't penetrate the trunk of the tree, and so we only see the front part of the tree, or the part of the tree that's facing us. Okay, so that's when we talk about a detector. Right? Okay, now we're going to talk about two basic things that these rays do if we're ignoring absorption and detection. So if we're thinking about a ray that's going to interact with an object and then keep propagating. One of it can do is a reflection, and this is the prototypical example here would be a mirror reflection. And since the rays are infinitely narrow, any surface, at least locally, will look smooth and flat. And the key equation here for reflection is that the incident angle is equal to the exiting angle, where that is measured relative to the normal to that surface. Okay. If it's a flat mirror, that's obvious. If it's a rough surface, we have to think locally. So choose the spot, approximate it as a flat, smooth surface, draw the normal, and then our angles have to be equal. So if we have a rough surface, if we have an extended set of rays hitting it, then they'll go off in all directions. They'll be scattered in all directions. However, if we have a smooth surface, a flat smooth surface, and we have an extended set of rays, they'll all be coming off in the same direction. So a parallel set of rays coming into a mirror will be reflected out as a parallel set. So if this was to come into a mirror, we would reflect outward that way. Okay. Now, I'm sure you're very familiar with looking into a mirror. If you look into the mirror, you see yourself on the back side. What you're seeing is an image of you, the object. So you're, in this case, it's a little bit degenerate because you're the object and you're the detector. But if you imagine like looking at your shoe out here, right? Your detector is your eye, here's your shoe. You're seeing an image inside of that mirror, right? That's not where the real object is, of course, but that's where we perceive it to be. For a flat mirror, the distance of this object as it appears behind the mirror is equal to the distance in front of the mirror. So S equals S prime. We will shortly, next time or the time after, we'll be looking at some possibilities of curved mirrors. Then this relationship changes. Okay, let's look at this a little more closely. Let's say this is your shoe, and this is you, or this is any object. How do we draw that ray diagram there? Well, of course, the object is the source, and this comes to the detector. The only way for this to get to the detector, it has to obey this law, right? And so there's one and only one spot where this can hit the mirror such that these two angles are equal. If we were to hit here and here, right, those angles wouldn't be equal. So one spot in the mirror right here. Now, what we do is we extend this ray as what's called a virtual ray, and we extend this ray. So we take a ray that's coming out, not coming to us, but coming out and coming straight back to that object, extend that out, and where they cross is where that image will be. And it turns out that by working out the geometry there, we would see that that these two distances are the same here. Okay. Now, if we did not know we were looking in a mirror, then we would perceive the object to be sitting over here. if we know we're looking in a mirror, then our brains can make that adjustment and realize the object is over to our left here instead of in front of us. All right, the last thing we want to talk about here is refraction. And this has a different governing equation. It's called Snell's law. And it's certainly going to matter what the index of refraction is. So again, we draw something normal to the surface. And now rather than a reflection, we are looking at the beam that actually goes into the sample, or into the next sample. So we measure again according to this normal, but now we measure on the other side because we penetrated into this region here, and we're comparing again the incident and the outgoing angles at different indices of refraction. Let's do an example. Let's say this is air and this is water, and our incident angle is 45 degrees. Well, we just solved Snell's law for the thing we're looking for, which is going to be the outgoing angle. So we're going to get arc sine of 1 times sine of 45, and we'll bring this over to this side, divided by 1.5. We get an angle of 28. And this is something that's always going to be true if we're going from a lower index of refraction to higher index of refraction, is that the angle is going to bend towards the normal. It's going to bend towards the normal. Now, if we were to flip these around, if n1 was greater than n2, then we would bend away from the normal. And that actually leads to something really important, and particularly important for the way the internet works, our optical fibers, and how we transmit information. We do so using a process called total internal reflection. And what happens here is, let's flip the role here now. Let's make n greater than n2. And if we exceed, this comes in at an angle greater than the so-called critical angle, we actually refract back into the original substance. So here's our normal, right? We're coming in at an angle. This is going to want to bend away, right? It's going to want to bend away. And there's going to be a critical angle where that bends all the way to 90 degrees. So the critical angle occurs when theta 2 is equal to 90 degrees. So we can plug in 90 degrees here, we get 1. And so then we just take the arc sine of the ratio of the indices of refraction. And that gives us the value of the critical angle. So if we exceed the critical angle, then we bend so far away from that normal that we actually don't penetrate into the next material. We stay inside the original material. And this is how we transmit information along optical fibers, and we can bend those fibers. So let's say we want to send a signal, and we're bending it along this fiber. If we input our signal, the angle here is going to be, compared to normal, is going to be a very big angle. And this is usually glass, so an index of 1.5. And then this is plastic, or you can actually kind of consider it as, just imagine there's a thin layer of air there. But anyway, this is going to be n equals 1, we'll say, right there. Now, so that is not going to penetrate out. That's going to totally internal reflect. And then it bounces back to the other side. And it never hits the surface with a very sharp angle, unless you were to really bend that fiber, but then you'd probably break the fiber. And so we can actually maintain total internal reflection, get very little signal loss for extended fibers, kilometers. We could extend these fibers and pass signal with very little loss because of total internal reflection. All right, the last thing I'm just going to hint at, and you can see if you can see if you can come up with an example problem based on this. And this is this idea of deflection. So let's say we have a glass plate and we're air over here. We're going to come in at some angle. Here's our normal. And we know that we bend towards the normal here. And here's our normal here. And then we know we're going to bend away. And because this is the same over here and over here, this angle has to equal this angle. But notice, if I extend this backwards and extend this forwards, we have two parallel rays. So this has shifted or deflected the ray because it went through this flat glass plate. So see if you can put some numbers to this, or use those numbers and make up an angle and see what kind of deflection you get. Of course, if we're straight on, we're going to get no deflection. So the bigger the angle, the bigger the reflection. All right, so that is some ideas here, thinking about light as rays rather than waves. We will go into the job of looking at lenses and mirrors much more carefully now and develop what's called a ray tracing method. And this is where we're going to use some graph paper and try to follow the rays for more difficult surfaces than just a flat mirror or a flat glass plate. So we're going to look at curved objects, lenses, and curved mirrors.